And the Grammy Award for Album of the Year goes to... Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 unexplainable Album of the Year Grammy wins. Before we begin, we publish new videos every day, so be sure to subscribe for more great content. For this list, we're not saying that these are necessarily bad albums, as some are quite good. Often it's a case of a good album winning the trophy when one or more groundbreaking albums were passed over. Number 10, MTV Unplugged, Tony Bennett.
Fly me to the moon.
We can understand the Recording Academy voters' love for a live retrospective from the raspy-voiced crooner whose career had already spanned more than 40 memorable years. But 1994 was also the year of Johnny Cash's triumphant comeback, American Recordings, the first of a multi-album collaboration with Rick Rubin.
She was low down and trifling.
It wasn't even nominated in the Best Album category and had to settle for a win as Best Contemporary Folk Album. And then there's Green Day's breakthrough album, Dookie, Rolling Stones' Album of the Year, and winner of the Alternative Music Grammy. Both took a backseat to an unplugged album from a legendary singer who was never really plugged in.
Yes, we love all of you.
Number 9, A Man and His Music, Frank Sinatra.
Luck be a lady tonight.
The Beatles put rock into the Album of the Year category with 1965's Help, but lost to Frank Sinatra's September of My Years.
Help me if you can, I'm feeling down.
The Beatles must have been feeling deja vu as Revolver lost to A Man and His Music at the next year's ceremony.
Come fly with me, we'll float down to Peru.
Old Blue Eye did lay down classics Love and Marriage and Come Fly With Me, but Revolver was transformative. It mixed rock, psychedelia, and soul while still maintaining the Beatles' track record of catchy harmonic hits.
Keeping an eye on the world going by.
It's number 3 on Rolling Stones' greatest albums of all time. Number 2 on that list is another ignored groundbreaker, Pet Sounds by the Beach Boys, which wasn't even nominated. The musical revolution would have to wait. Number 8, Genius Loves Company, Ray Charles.
I sing for Georgia.
Why, oh why, didn't Academy voters give Ray Charles Album of the Year for 1962's masterful, groundbreaking country soul mashup, modern sounds in country and western music?
Well, if I could move.
Instead, they waited for his posthumous release, a series of duets with an admittedly impressive stable of legendary artists. That year's ceremony continued a long-standing Grammy tradition of choosing the right artist at the wrong time.
Make me feel mellow down to my soul.
Charles was nominated alongside Green Day's American Idiot, Kanye West's The College Dropout, and The Diary of Alicia Keys. Hopefully, these icons don't have to wait 4 decades for the Grammy's highest honor.
But everything means nothing if I ain't got you.
Number 7, River, The Joni Letters, Herbie Hancock.
I'm gonna quit this crazy scene. I wish I had a river.
You can admit it, the first time you heard about Herbie Hancock's River, The Joni Letters, was when Quincy Jones announced its Grammy win for Album of the Year.
River, the Joni Letters, Herbie Hancock.
We can't argue with the quality of the album, or of Hancock injecting a jazz flavor into the Canadian Legend songbook, but on Grammy night, River had moved around 55,000 albums, and was competing against 2 multi-platinum classics.
I need you right now.
Graduation by Kanye West, and what was unfortunately Amy Winehouse's final album, Back to Black. When you think about 2007, you think about chart-topping classics like Rehab or Stronger. Court and Spark, not so much. Number 6, 1989, Taylor Swift.
So it's gonna be forever, or it's gonna go down in flames.
Okay, Swifties, settle down. 1989 was an awesome album. It's so good that alt rocker Ryan Adams did a full album tribute. However, the songstress already had received the award for Fearless, an album she released at the ripe old age of 18. But it could be argued that 2015 belonged to Kendrick Lamar's To Pimp a Butterfly.
24/7, 365 days times 2. I was contemplating getting.
It elevated hip-hop. Rolling Stone, Entertainment Weekly, Spin Magazine, Billboard, Pitchfork, and more all had Butterfly as their album of the year. We might have even given Kanye West a pass if he had bum rushed the stage on Grammy night. Swift fans that disagree with 1989's inclusion on this list can, well, shake it off.
I shake it off, I shake it off.
Number 5, Two Against Nature, Steely Dan.
Well, I've kicked around a lot since high school. I've worked a lot of nowhere gigs.
From 1972 through 1980, Steely Dan was a rock radio mainstay with 7 albums and 10 top 40 singles, but then they disbanded. Understandably, Two Against Nature, their first studio album in 2 decades, brought its fair share of anticipation.
Skating backwards at the speed of light.
Did it deliver? It depends on who you ask. Recording Academy voters answered with 4 Grammys, including the top honor.
Who has a friend named Melanie?
On Grammy night, most people in the building expected the winner to be one of the 2 albums considered masterworks, Kid A by Radiohead or the Marshall Mathers LP by Eminem.
If you didn't want to talk to me outside the concert, you didn't have to, but you could have signed an autograph for Matthew.
Kid A made many lists as the greatest album of the 2000s, and the Marshall Mathers LP propelled Eminem into superstardom. But it was Steely Dan who took home the trophy instead.
How about a kiss for your cousin? How about a kiss?
Number 4, Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Blood, Sweat, and Tears.
Crash on a levee. Water's gonna overflow.
1969, one of the greatest years in music. There were 2 Beatles albums, Johnny Cash's live album at San Quentin, The Who's rock opera Tommy, and Led Zeppelin's first 2 albums. What masterpiece was chosen to represent the year of peace, love, and music? That would be Blood, Sweat, and Tears, the 1968 self-titled album from a New York City brass rock collective. It's hard to argue with its quadruple platinum success. It's also hard to argue with Rolling Stone, who said first they play folk, then they play jazz, then they play Latin, but never merge into one. But do you know what did merge into one? The music on Album of the Year nominee Abbey Road. You may have heard it.
Here come old flat top, he come grooving up slowly.
Number 3, Falling Into You, Celine Dion. Falling Into You rightfully made Celine Dion a worldwide sensation. It had the tear-jerking Because You Loved Me, the rousing ballad It's All Coming Back to Me Now, and the stunning cover of All By Myself. But what it comes down to is the difference between great singers and great musicians. Dion and her team cherry-picked songs from great songwriters like Diane Warren and Jim Steinman.
Got a devil's haircut in my mind.
On the other hand, the genre-defying Odelay by Beck, the eclectic alternative hip-hop of The Score by the Fugees, and the grandiosity of the Smashing Pumpkins 2-disc album, Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness, were musicians at their creative best. Number 2, Christopher Cross. Christopher Cross. Pop quiz! Who was the first artist to win Best New Artist, Record, Song, and Album of the Year, all in one night? Elvis? The Beatles? Simon and Garfunkel? Maybe Bob Dylan? Nope. It was the captain of the short-lived yacht rock genre, Christopher Cross. Rock critics hated it, but adult contemporary audiences couldn't get enough. Fellow nominee The Wall, a double album by Pink Floyd, would go on to sell 23 million units. But with Pink Floyd having started a hiatus in 1994 and only attempting mini reunions since then, the early 80s were likely the last great opportunity to honor the kings of the concept album. Meanwhile, Cross fell victim to the Best New Artist curse, never going platinum again. At least Ron Burgundy still loves him.
That's right, folks. When Ron Burgundy rides, he rides like the wind. Not like a Subaru or a golf cart, like a god-darn wind.
Before we unveil Grammy's most unexplainable choice for Album of the Year, here are a few honorable, or in this case, dishonorable mentions.
By the time I make Oklahoma, she'll be sleeping.
Number 1, Can't Slow Down, Lionel Richie. Can't Slow Down ultimately sold 20 million and garnered 5 top 10 hits. Everybody Danced Till Dawn with the Caribbean-infused All Night Long, and Hello gave us the bust forever sculpted in our memories.
Hello.
But in 1984, 2 icons put out iconic albums. Bruce Springsteen's Born in the USA took listeners into the lives of veterans and blue-collar Americans, as well as into his 30-something angst, but with the catchiest of hooks. Then there's Purple Rain, a soundtrack that intertwined rock, funk, R&B, and psychedelia into a 9-track masterpiece. Its title track landed Prince an Oscar, but not Grammy's highest honor. Maybe they canceled each other out in voting, or maybe people wanted to party Karamu Fiesta forever more than we thought.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo and subscribe for new videos every day.